اللهم إنا نسألك علما نافعا وقلبا خاشعا ولسانا ذاكرا. اللهم إنا نسألك علما نافعا وقلبا خاشعا ولسانا ذاكرا. اللهم إنا نسألك علما نافعا.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. All praise belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We testify that there is none worthy of worship except Allah, and that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was his slave and final messenger. May the finest peace and blessings be upon him. Joined with me in our Cairo studios is our Sheikh, our Ustad Omar. Welcome, Brother Omar, once again.
Jazakallah khair.
Honor to have you and always a pleasure to be with you.
It's my pleasure. Jazakallah khair. Barakallah
May
fi.
Allah bless you.
Ameen.
Jazakallah khair. Alhamdulillah, dear viewers, we're continuing our series of qualities of being a successful Muslims. Well, alhamdulillah, this is episode number 4, and we are delving into and diving into how to be a visionary Muslim. It's always good to have aspirations and inspirations and have higher goals, but what does it mean to be a visionary Muslims? And with that, we'll turn to the Sheikh and see his advice to us here today. Sheikh, what does it mean to be a visionary Muslim?
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. Firstly, Muslims should always be planners. Muslims should always be people who have a vision. People who are always concerned about their self-development, people who always have goals and are striving to achieve them. They are people who have strong determination and strong will to achieve that.
Yeah.
Now, vision, linguistically, it means to visualize something, to see something. And it is to see something in the future. And also vision it's a belief. It's something that you truly believe in. It could be a dream. It could be a world that you wish to see, a change that you wish to see in society in the future. So it's a vague definition, but I think it gives an understanding of what this word means. Vision comes from the eyesight originally, but it is an idea. It is it could be an imagination, a forecast. Foresight, absolutely.
Yes.
So many people might have a vision of what they wish to see the world, or how they wish to see the world, in particular in the future.
So a visionary Muslim is out to set the world, or should have a view on how he should set the world? Is that?
Yes, however, it depends how big a person's vision is.
Okay.
So a person can have a small vision and focus in one city, one area. He wishes to see a change in his area. Another person's vision is global, is much bigger. He wishes to see a change in the whole world. So his vision becomes bigger, meaning the work is more, and also meaning he's going to have to work with other people as well to make sure he gets the vision. One of the authorities and scholars of leadership studies, he said that anyone's vision that is achieved by himself, that vision is not big enough. It's a small vision, meaning if you have a big vision, you need to work with other people, you need to cooperate, you need to have a team, and so on.
As a group, not individually.
Absolutely.
But how does having a vision maybe interfere, or is it consistent with relying upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala?
Yes.
Iradatillah, like the will of Allah versus our foresight. How do
we connect it?
Yes.
So okay, when we say vision, even the prophets, they had a vision, and they also had their trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So two things we mentioned. Firstly, the vision of every believer, it should be one. And that vision that we all should share is that we all want to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and He is pleased with us. We all want to see the face of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We all want to live in paradise, and we all want to save our souls from the punishment. That should be every single person's vision.
No.
And that vision is built upon knowing his purpose in life. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. Mankind and jinn have not been created except for the purpose of worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
No.
However, there is another vision, like a smaller layer, a smaller vision that each individual can have, that will be his token to achieving his higher vision. So a smaller vision as an individual, it could be the person has a cause, right, that he is trying to follow, right? It could be youth work, it could be fighting poverty, it could be fighting injustice. This is his cause. But this cause is for the sake of Allah, is for the sake of the higher vision, which is to enter paradise and to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Kind of like having a long-term goal and a short-term goal, or maybe a 5-year plan and a 10-year plan, so that sort of thing?
So we always have to split up the vision. So the greater vision is paradise. Then we have the worldly vision.
No.
What am I going to do in my life to meet that vision? Then we have these milestones that you mentioned. So what am I going to do for the next 10 years? Then what am I going to do for the next 5 years? Next year, next few months. Each smaller plan is to fulfill the bigger plan. But to answer your question, does it contradict with the tawakkul of Allah, putting our trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? The Prophet ﷺ answered this question, that when the companion said that, we would know if our destiny is already planned, then should we still do the actions? Or so the Prophet ﷺ said, اعملوا, do the actions. فَكُلٌّ مُيَسِّرٌ لِمَا خُلِقَ لَهُ. Every single person will be guided to his path, will be guided to what he is best for, will be guided to maybe his position. So what we learn is that, yes, Allah knows what we are going to become. Allah knows what type of legacies we're going to leave behind. Allah knows what actions and so on we're going to do. But we don't. We don't. And Allah is just. So in order for us to have a just accountability, we need to experience it, we need to do the actions. And then Allah Azza wa Jal, He will make that path easy for you. So for example, a person's cause, a person wants to be a doctor, okay? But that path doesn't become easy for him. He tries and tries and it doesn't work. Then he ends up becoming a solicitor, or he ends up becoming a businessman, and he becomes really successful in it, and it becomes really easy for him. Any tijara he does, he becomes successful in it. That's because Allah is guiding him to that. This is what Allah wants from him. كُلٌّ مُيَسِّرٌ لِمَا خُلِقَ. You've been created for this. You've been created to be a businessman. The other person is being created to be a sheikh. Another person is being created for a different position. And this is how the Sahaba were. Some were warriors, some were scholars.
So is it kind of like a proof for us as well, that predestination is already there, the will of Allah is there, but this is, and we're doing to prove it to ourselves, or
Absolutely.
be a witness for us, whether for us or against us, I guess.
Absolutely. So all of these actions will be a witness for us or against us. All of these blessings, all of these matters that become close to us and become easy for us, they become a witness either for us or against us. We'll be asked, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ask us about every action.
Jazakumullah khairan. Let's see, what are the characteristics of a Muslim visionary?
Characteristics of a visionary Muslim. First and foremost, we should identify that every single one of us is special in their own way. Every single one of us have certain qualities, certain blessings from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and each person will have something unique. You will have something that I don't have. I might have something that someone else doesn't have. That person has something that another person doesn't have. So every single person is blessed in his own way. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ. We have created insan in the best form. He has the best capabilities, best features. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also says, عَلَّمَ الْإِنسَانَ مَا لَمْ يَعْلَمْ. He has taught man that which he did not know. Okay, so every single one of us has some advantages already set from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
No.
To answer your question is, how do we define a visionary Muslim? A visionary Muslim has 4 things. He plans, he has determination, he has self-evaluation, he constantly evaluates his progress, his success, and he has positivity as well as belief and conviction of what he is doing. You know, he believes in his cause. He is convinced that this is the right cause. This is what I want to work for. This is what I believe is extremely important, the most important perhaps.
Let's take it those 4 characteristics and kind of slow down a bit, because the point of this is to develop ourselves and our viewers and inshallah the ummah at large to be visionaries, right? So let's take these 4 characteristics and kind of break them down, maybe with an example, each step of the process, how we can, so we can better understand how we can attain that level of visionary.
Sure. As for a person who plans, you know, the famous quote says, if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. And I think it's true. You know, anyone who doesn't have a plan doesn't know where he's going. You know, he is planning without him planning for failure. The plan
is failure.
Yeah. Planning is an important quality for a visionary Muslim. So the Japanese nation, they went through a big war, the Second World War, and their country was like nearly finished, you can say. There was nothing happening. But they managed to rebuild their country. They managed to make it today one of the top 10 countries economically speaking. So how did they do that? One of the ways was planning. And the Japanese, they became like an authority, you can say now, when it comes to you know, the study of advancement and development and leadership and management and so on. So they say that a person who has a vision but no plan, no actions, he's daydreaming.
Wasting time.
He's wasting time. This vision is not real until he has the plan and he has the actions to execute that plan. But a person who has actions with no vision, it's a nightmare. It's not a daydream, it's a nightmare. It's worse. You know, to be living a life without a vision in the first place. You don't know where you're going.
It's like you get into your car and you start driving. You don't know where you're going.
Exactly.
Like you're just going to keep driving and aimlessly, right?
Exactly.
So Omar, unfortunately we would like to take a small break and come back continuing these 4 characteristics as they are very important. Dear viewers, inshallah, stay tuned after this short break as we will continue on the characteristics of being a visionary. Bi-idhnillah ta'ala, stay tuned.
اللهم إنا نسألك علما نافعا وقلبا خاشعا
I shall provide for the believers and also the disbelievers, but it is for them a brief comfort, and then I shall compel them to the hellfire. إن الله هو الرزاق ذو القوة المتين. Indeed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the all-providing, the one who is the owner of power, subhanahu wa ta'ala. The shaitan will come to you from this window to try to bring doubts inside your heart about the people around you, about your friends, your brothers, and your relatives. So stay away from suspicion. Allah Ta'ala in the Quran described this saying, وَإِذْ قَالَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ رَبِّ اجْعَلْ هَذَا بَلَدًا آمِنًا. When Ibrahim alayhi salam said, "Oh Allah, make this city, this region, Mecca, a city of security."
اللهم إنا نسألك علما نافعا قلبا خاشعا.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear viewers, welcome back from our short break. Continuing the lessons or pointers on how to build the characteristics of a visionary in ourselves in order to further develop ourselves and the ummah at large. Sheikh Omar, we're continuing with the first characteristics, the characteristics of planning. Before I let you just take the lead, if you can just shed some light on our heritage, on how the Prophet ﷺ was a visionary, maybe through, inspiring someone, or he himself, on how he planned, for example, sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Of course, our heritage, our religion is full of lessons when it comes to being productive, being good planners, being visionary, and even doing a job with perfection, right? So even the Prophet ﷺ, he said, "Inna Allah yuhibbu idha amala ahadakum amalan an yutqinahu." Indeed, Allah loves whenever one of you does an action that he does it with perfection.
No.
And this is when it comes to worldly and non-worldly matters. When someone prays, he prays with perfection. When someone does business, he does it with perfection. And in order for us to be successful, one of the ways to perfect something is to plan. Is to plan. If you want to do itqan, don't just rush something, no planning. You have a plan behind it. You have something that is guiding you and you are following it. This is itqan. This is perfecting something. And when you look at the life of the Prophet ﷺ, you will find that he was extremely visionary. The Prophet ﷺ, he said that he wants to be the Prophet with the most followers on the Day of Judgment.
No.
This is a vision. He could have been a person who said, okay, Allah made me a messenger. A few people became Muslim, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq and a few others. I did my job. I did tabligh of the deen and the risalah. I can just rest now. The Prophet ﷺ wanted mankind to know about this message. He wanted to face Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he has the most followers. And this vision, it didn't come to existence at his time even. It came after.
No.
This is why our vision, it shouldn't be just limited to our time even. It should be even extended to hundreds of years, thousands of years. That this vision is big, and also it gives us sadaqah jariyah and benefits us until the Day of Judgment.
Let me just branch off just a little bit, but
Sure.
we'll come back to planning and the rest of the characteristics. What is the correlation between planning and legacy, if there is one? You mentioned that the Prophet ﷺ's vision didn't stop after his death, but his legacy continued after that. So what is the correlation or the relationship over here between legacy
And planning.
planning?
So a person who has a plan, he will have aims, right? And a person who aims, to reach the moon, let's say, right? My aim is to reach the moon. Okay, whatever is below that becomes second, becomes third. So because his vision is bigger, his aims are bigger, he's going to achieve, higher. He's going to meet higher goals. This is why the Prophet ﷺ didn't aim just for Quraysh. He aimed for mankind. And even if you don't get 100% of the aim, or 100% of the plan wasn't fulfilled, but 80% is still very good.
No.
Because without the plan, you have 0% anyway. So 80% is still very big. I aim to cross the sea. If I'm aiming to cross the sea, and I swim for a few hours, and I didn't go that far, I'm going to feel like a failure maybe. But if my aim was restricted a bit, the aim was a bit smaller,
You probably would have gotten less.
I probably would have done less, reached less. So this is the connection, I think, between planning. How big is your vision? And it should be something that is realistic, something that is achievable, but at the same time it's not small. We should, the Prophet ﷺ said, if you make dua for Jannah, you make dua for the Akhirah, do Jannat al-Firdaus, make dua for Jannat al-Firdaus. Always aim for the highest as Muslims.
Also an off branch, or off not off topic, but can a vision live after? I mean, obviously the vision of Rasulullah ﷺ outlived him, but for us, for me, for you, for our viewers, can our vision outlive us?
Yes. I mean, lots of visionary people didn't see the results of their vision. Okay, there were many Islamic scholars who, they wrote about ideas, they wrote about certain topics, and it was only 60, 70 years after their death, it happened. We had even from non-Muslims, people who had, the civil rights movement in America.
Malcolm X, for
Malcolm
example.
X, Martin Luther King,
Yes.
right? They had a dream, they had a vision, okay? But at their time, when they passed away, there was still lack of black people's rights. Today, the rights that people have today is much better than in the 60s, 50s, at that time.
Due to their vision.
Due to their vision. So, likewise, a person should always have a vision that is big, and he might not see it in his life, but it will happen one day. So Islamic Relief or another charity, they will say, our vision is to see a world without poverty. A world without poverty. Now this might not happen at their time, okay, but it makes them have no limits. They said a world, not a country. So they'll go all over the world. They'll work with anyone who would help them fulfill this vision to fight poverty. We believe in a world where every person is educated. We believe in a world where every Muslim youth is proud of his identity. Meaning your job is never done. Okay, if it was a world where 10 people are proud of their Muslim identity, I can finish that job, we can finish it in a day or two, a week, then khalas, our job's over. So it doesn't have to be at your time. In fact, if it carries on after your time, that's better. That's your sadaqah jari, your ongoing charity.
Jazakumullah khair for that. So going back now, we want to, inshallah, by the end of this episode, be able to finish the 4 characteristics of being a visionary, so we can take it, implement it, inshallah, in our lives. So number 1 was planning. Number 2, we said was?
So after planning, we said determination. Person has determination, and we said being positive as well, a person being positive. So I wanted to speak about determination. Okay, it's important that we are productive. That we, anything that Allah makes an oath about, it means it's very important. And Allah says, "Wal asr," by the time. So time is precious. Time is our main masdar. Time is our main source of trading with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's more valuable than money. Because once your time goes, your life goes.
You cannot make it back up.
So, the Prophet alayhi salam, he informed us that the most productive time is after Fajr. And he made dua to Allah, "Oh Allah, bless my ummah in the morning." So you will find that a person who is up early, he achieves more. And there was a study by some scientists that shows when is the most productive time that makes the brain very active. And they found that it's in the morning, in particular after Fajr, subhanAllah. Another study shows that most successful people, they have 3 of these qualities in common. The first one is they sleep early and they wake up early. Number 2 is they're positive. And number 3, they have a clear vision. And 3 qualities that failures have in common: they sleep late and they wake up late, they are negative, and they have a lack of clarity of their vision. Now what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say in the Quran? وَجَعَلْنَا اللَّيْلَ لِبَاسًا وَجَعَلْنَا النَّهَارَ مَعَاشًا. Night is being made dark so that we can rest. It's dark and it's quiet. Our bodies, our brains, our eyesight is designed to rest at that time. وَالنَّهَارَ مَعَاشًا. The daytime is bright, noisy. Why? Because it's our bodies are designed and our brains are designed to work, to be active. And the Prophet ﷺ spoke about even Salat al-Fajr. The one who wakes up for Salat al-Fajr, what happens to that person? فَأَصْبَحَ نَشِيطًا طَيِّبِ النَّفْسِ. When a person wakes up for Fajr, he wakes up for the whole day nasheet, active, productive. وَطَيِّبِ النَّفْسِ. His soul, his body, his mentality is so tayyib, feels so positive and good. But the person who misses Fajr, وإلا فأصبح خبيث النفس كسلان. Yeah, he wakes up with a negative soul, negative mentality, and lazy for the whole day. Even if he slept for 10, 12 hours, he missed Fajr, he has no blessing in his day. So look at the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. If we just follow it, we will be more visionary and more productive, and we will transform our lives.
So number 1 was planning. Number 2 is productivity. I want to try, inshallah, to catch these next 2, and we only have probably 2 minutes at this point, inshallah. So a minute for each characteristic and how we could implement to wrap up the episode, inshallah ta'ala.
No.
So number 1 was planning, number 2 was productivity, and number 3 is
Determination. A person should have strong determination and should believe in the qualities that Allah gave him, and should not have anything that will be a barrier. Okay, so one of the barriers is fear. You're afraid to do something. You believe you can't do something. You want to stay in your comfort zone. And sometimes we're even afraid of opportunities.
Nobody likes change.
Nobody wants to change.
Nobody likes it.
Nobody likes it, absolutely.
Yeah.
So you will find in animals like the chameleon, that lizard, the camouflage lizard.
Yes.
It's safe in its tree. It doesn't want to move. And it's camouflaged, so it's protected. Predators can't eat it. But if it sees a better tree, a bigger one, it will go to it. It will jump for that opportunity. But if there's no other tree, no, I'll stay safe. So again, I'll go back to the Japanese. They say, if he can do it, then I can do it. If this person can do it, then I can definitely do it. And if no one has done it before in this world, I shall be the first person to do it. So this is determination, self-belief, positivity. Another person, he heard this quote, who's the opposite, you know. He said,
negative.
Yeah, he's not Japanese, I don't know. I don't want to mention a country or anything. So he said, if he can do it, let him do it. If he can do it, let him do it then. And if no one has done it before in this world, then how on earth am I meant to do it?
Ustadna, I'm really sorry to cut you off. If you could just repeat the 4 real quick. Unfortunately, we have to end the episode at this moment. The 4 characteristics of being a visionary real quick, inshallah.
Being a good planner, determination, being productive, and the last one is? The last one is?
Bismillah. Allahumma salli wa sallim ala Sayyidina.
You said self-accountability, right? Self-accountability. No.
Jazakumullah khairan. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to weigh in your scales of good deeds. I mean, dear viewers, unfortunately we have to cut this episode at this moment, at this time. Inshallah, keep tuning in with us in our series of qualities of a successful Muslim, bi'idhnillah ta'ala. Until next time, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
اللهم إنا نسألك علما نافعا وقلبا خاشعا ولسانا ذاكرا. اللهم إنا نسألك علما نافعا وقلبا خاشعا ولسانا ذاكرا. اللهم إنا نسألك علما نافعا وقلبا خاشعا